we go to try to deny Grom from their bot lane, and that's cut off partially. Just gonna exit full screen then.
No, it's the same.
What the heck am I doing? Now I'm actually triggered, alright. Gotta make it slightly smaller. Sorry for no full screen, but I have to fit it all. Alright, close enough. JK. It's gonna bother me if it's not. Alright, now it's close enough. Okay. So basically we try to invade the enemy Gromp and it goes really poorly. We push too much, and so basically Nidalee starts out here with a triple kill. We get 1 kill in return, but it doesn't really matter. At that point, we continue laning and then we die again. We get double killed. But at this point in the game, here's where like opening up 1 tower is important. Our whole disadvantage is their jungle and their bot lane. So basically what happens here is Graves helps out top lane a lot. And basically what Malphite's able to do, he's able to secure the first turret of the game, which you can see happen right here. And so basically our jungler, they go top, and then I believe they go to do Rift. See, our mid laner, we were all in a call, except for I think the Malphite, if I remember correctly. So basically the mid laner roamed up to help take that tower, because he couldn't lane mid lane anymore, he was pretty far behind too. And so he goes up to take that top tower, and that just opens up part of the map for us. But since we're like terribly far behind, we couldn't really use any pressure from it. Like we couldn't get Rift, like we were so far behind that like, none of like, you couldn't really push your advantage. So we decided at this point we're just gonna farm it out. We're gonna try for them to make a mistake here. So what I do here is I hook the Nidalee. We know Nidalee's coming to gank. We called it out earlier. We can tell by our ward set up that Nidalee was coming. And so basically, we call our jungler down. It's like, hey, our lane. Oh, actually, this is where I messed up where I started. So our lane's pushing, and we know that their jungler really likes bot. So like our lane's pushing, they're either gonna try to push for a dive. So what we decided to do is we tell our jungler earlier, hey, our lane's shoving, we're gonna need some sort of help. And so he starts coming down. We know that wasn't warded, the try, because I swept it earlier. And so here we're gonna try to turn around a gank. And basically, we know Malphite has TP advantage. And here's where like I was talking about, where like, this wave is shoving that way, and since it's like frozen here, but it's gonna shove here, by the time he TPs and goes back top, this wave's gonna get bigger, it's gonna be stopped by this wave, and stopped by 1 more wave. By the time it reaches his tower, he might miss like 2 creeps, but he's gonna be able to farm like 20, 35 plus creeps. So he shoved up, let it reset, and then it slow pushes. Creep waves push. The reason why creep waves push when they're further up is because the creeps get there before your creeps can. They have to travel a shorter distance compared to like going all the way here. And so your creeps start hitting the creeps faster. And that's how waves generally push. It's not really as random. A lot of people like thought it was random, even in the beginning of the league. Players thought it was just random. It's like, oh, I just got out RNG, that's why we lost the game. But creep waves generally are really predictable at this point. People have played enough to know where they're going. The only thing that's kind of iffy is the initial wave, but even then, it's generally about even. Blue side tends to get fucked more, but I think that statistic's been like disproven. And so Malphite goes for a TP, so we're trying to push for a play here. We don't really get too much of it. I think we get like a kill maybe. I think we get actually 2 or 3. And I think, yeah, Ahri comes down, she comes down late. So Ahri dies, we get 2 kills, we burn ult. And so here we're gonna try to make a play for the bot lane turret, I believe. Because we knew they were missing and we were called out the roam. They thought they could outplay it, I don't think they live there. So what we're gonna do here, so they kill Tarek. It's a Tarek top, by the way, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, actually. It's actually kind of good into certain matchups. It's pretty good against Riven, it's okay against Pantheon. And so we push up here. This is, let's see, I was Master on my Smurf for this one, I believe, or just about to hit it. And I think the other 4 were Diamond 4, Diamond 3, I'm unsure, but it was around Diamond. This is Diamond Elo, by the way. And so since they roam, we're gonna try to get this turret. Like I said, if you split the map across the river, when they go here, instead of just playing back, it's like, oh, they're over there, we can't do anything. We try to take something. So we try to take the bot turret. We get a lot of damage off on it. They go middle, and so at this point I'm like, oh shit, I should probably leave. But like, we don't really have the wave clear, so even if I did came, our team is so shitty in terms of wave clear, by the way. Like, Ezreal and Graves Q are our only wave clear. And so I'm like, I might as well not go. And so we see Ahri roam down, and here we try to retreat. And we knew they were coming because of our wards, our defensive wards. And so now you see our team coming down. We're gonna try to fight this and collapse on it. That's the wrong button. That's also the wrong button. And basically, we still get pretty fucked. We're able to get, I think, like a kill maybe, but I think a lot of people end up dying. So yeah, that did not go up. And see, at this point, like Graves, so like I said, if you divide the map across river, you can push something. So instead of Graves coming down and doing nothing, he can't defend this on his own, so what he does is he goes middle and tries to take tower. He gets significant damage on the mid tower. Oh, wrong clip. My bad. That's another point. I think he took this mid tower. So he shoved up a wave. That's also a good thing. You deny the creeps if you push. It's like the same theory, except he doesn't get the tower. So basically what he does is he knows he can't defend this one, so he's going to wait for this when we're all up. And so what he does is he shoved the mid wave, denied those creeps, and now the tower's getting those creeps. And you can't really do anything about that. So here at this point, we're all up in about 7 seconds. They're like, hey, they're overstaying. We can punish this. And so basically what the enemy does here is they overstay, which is, like I said, one of the biggest things. These are throw points. And so basically they chase. We have Ezreal, Akali, Malphite, and Thresh, so we have really good chase. So we essentially chase them off, and I believe we push for Dragon here, or mid. And so we see them doing Dragon. It's like, hey, they haven't backed. If they backed earlier, they could have gotten the Dragon. Like, if they just backed, like, they didn't necessarily need to take the tower. They could have backed, gotten Dragon, and just came back bot later. Like, people like to push for more when you don't necessarily need to, because our wave clear's so shit that they can just come at any time and just take it. So where they fucked up is they overstayed, and now they're going to try to do something even more greedy, which is go for the Dragon when several of their members haven't backed. So at this point, like, they're forced to back off. We're all full HP. Most of our ultis are almost up. We're only missing 2. So we're going to try to zone them off the Dragon. We're keeping them here at Dragon for as long as we can, because we know the more damage Dragon whittles them down, the easier it is for fight. So we steal the Dragon here. I believe we get like 3 kills, if I remember correctly, yeah. So after that, we've shoved for, I call it a shove middle. I think we take the mid tower here as well. So by playing the Dragon correctly and by their overstaying at a throw point, we're able to just like take an advantage, like take 2 kills, and now we're slowly shoving up now. Don't think Morg dies here if I remember. Yeah, so we're gonna get lots of damage on mid. I think we take it this wave. I'm unsure, and my phone just rang. Yeah, so we take the mid tower. At this point, we're like, we backed, we reset, and so we have no vision on Baron, but we do have one blue trinket on our AD carry. Generally, that's who always has one. And so we're like, hey, they're doing Baron. We don't see them here, 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 here. Like, we have no vision of them. We only see Tark. And like, I believe we saw them walk through this ward earlier. I didn't get that in the clip because I wasn't too sure. And so like, we're like, hey, they might be doing Baron. So as your ultis to check, he's down range with blue trinket. And look at how low they are. Like, they're on Baron, and I believe Baron's at like, oh, we can't see its HP. I think it's like at 6 or 7k. So at this point, since they're low, you can go in earlier if the enemy team is low. So at this point, I go in. Tarek's still top. He's not with his team. And so basically, we force a fight here because they're all so low, and they try to do a Baron they shouldn't have. And so basically, like, so Ezreal cleans up. I believe he gets a double kill, and I believe he gets, no, that was Graves. All right, yeah. So we get kills, and at this point, like I said, even if you don't, like, it was 1 for 1, but they stopped off Baron. Like I said, every minute you build, like during the game, you're able to come back further. And so here they do another greedy thing. A lot of us are dead, and 3 of us are coming up. So like they're overstaying again because we're gonna be up. At this point, like Graves gonna be up. He's gonna have home guard. So what I try to do here, and Malphite as well, is we try to just slow them down. Like with Ezreal, like we slow them down as much as we can to build time for Malphite to come with home guards. And so basically they overstay here. Lucian should have just ran, but instead he gets greedy. And so here we're able to pressure a lot more. Morg walks up like an idiot. I don't know why. I guess she thought they could turn that fight around. When they're down their ultis, they just use the siege. So we kill Morg here. Graves is able to like kite out. We're playing the fight to our advantage because we have we know they're overstaying. They're low. They're down their ultis. So we're fighting, and at this point, this is when they lose so much from an overstay. Instead of just backing off, like I said, like they took inhib, they should just ran out immediately. There's no point in staying if there's nothing else to get. If you take an inhib and you can't take bot or top, you can ward and then leave. Like you just leave immediately. You're not losing out on anything. You're just playing more risky. For like it's like high risk, little to no reward. You're literally getting nothing out of it. So here we shove up. We shove up a couple waves. I think we sent a Malphite to go catch bot wave. Like I said, that's what slow pushing looks like. The wave was here. It's slow push it build to build, and that's gonna have 1 more wave by the time it would reach the tower if it were there. And so it's gonna be like 20 plus creeps. So here we shove middle. After you kill an enemy team, you want to shove mid lane or bot wave. Just shove as many waves as you can, like safely. So like we back after this wave because it's like, hey, no point in staying. You want to secure all that farm, and then like like I said, the wave has to push again, and so that builds you time. We had a dragon as well. Graves solos it, and so here they're gonna go for Baron. Oh no. So here we see them on a ward and Scuttle Crab that they're gonna go for Baron. So instead of trying to stop them, we're gonna force them to make a split decision. Their team comp doesn't particularly do it too fast. So we decide we're going to shove middle here. And so here's where the split happens. Like they're like, when you have control of mid and the enemy team's on one side, you cut them off. You don't want them to, because generally people won't walk back. And so here we all collapse over here because we know that's the direction they're walking. like we saw them there. We know they have to walk here because they're not gonna go for a flank because that's just awful for their comp, or they're gonna go like all the way around. So we cut that area off. We get a pick on Italy, who happens to be their most fed member. I think it happens later. So yeah, we get a pick, or we don't get the pick, but we cut them off. And so basically there's like, Tarek had to waste his TP when like he was about to hit tower. He could have potentially taken that and then TP, but that probably would have been wrong as well. He should have just been there from the beginning. And so basically what happens here is they're coming in from 2 directions. That's really bad for their team comp because Nidalee needs a front line, and so does Lucian, and they don't really have a true tank outside of Tarek. So like not having that front line and like having like a Tarek, it kind of is really shitty here. So like they're all squishy members. So basically what we do is we shove up mid, and here we kite it out because that's the advantage of our comp, and we just play the fight as correctly. So basically since they're split, like Nidalee's up there, I think someone ran down here. I think it was Morg. Morg's like way down here because she had to run because she was low. And so basically that split allows us to win the team fight. That split decision, even though like we were down like 0-7 at one point, we slowly farmed back up. We came back up. And like we played around their shitty Barons, their shitty like overstays. And now you're able to like get in hit, and I believe we end on the next team fight. So yeah, we back. Yeah, here we back. I think here we're prepping. So like here we got top slow pushing, like this way is building. So we're all gonna run bottom now. Unless you have like a split pusher, but even then, if something's slow pushing, you don't want your split pusher to be up there unless they take the tower extremely fast. So here we saw Ari on a ward earlier. It was a it was a green ward that we placed on our exit. And so like since we see her here, I'm like, hey, well, we were kind of trolling. It's like it was Lux, Graves, and Ezreal. Like, bet you I can take this blue buff. And so here you see the Graves ult and the Ezreal coming. He got the, and then Akali ends up getting the blue, I believe. Oh no, I think Ezreal got it. So like they just tried to seal it, but we knew we can catch her out. She was like, they had no vision of us because since they just died here, that's at least a minute on death timers. Plus they won't ward their bot side, which is they'll ward their top side when Baron's up. And so getting this pick because of the vision we have and how we rotated on the map, this allows us to win the game. Like Ari 100% through the game here. This is still a diamond elo. People throw at all elos. You just have to take advantage of their misplays. And so here we push up, take tower, and I think we just end the game fairly shitty. Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, game just ends. For some reason, low replay cut out there. Basically, they try to fight us again with only 3 members, and they lose. So that happened. Any questions?
Alright, so let's say I like lose bot and I'm down bot farming while the rest of my team is sieging in the situation you were talking about. Let's say my team's really stupid and they get caught or they die. And so the enemy team gets like 2 towers in mid while I've been bot farming.
Well, generally that happens a lot in solo queue, so you generally want to let them know ahead of time because people don't watch. It's like, hey, I'm freezing, just try to wave clear under our turret. Because if you let people know, most of the time people are actually pretty friendly if you let them know. There's very like actual toxic players. Yeah. But if you let them know beforehand, it's like, hey, I'm freezing, just try to wave clear, don't try to like fight. If you can defend it for like 6 waves, we're good. Because like that lets you catch up. Yeah. So you can generally if you let teammates know ahead of time, like a lot of things like it'll work out just really well. That happens a lot with Barons too. It's like, hey, we're turning if they come, or hey, we're finishing it if they come. Generally that's also a good thing to say, because like if you let your teammates know ahead of time, generally things work out really well. Any other questions? Alright, now I have to do trivia, I guess.
I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
Say all lanes win real early.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the times I've seen like my team will throw if they win too early, like before like 14 minutes. What do you do? What's your objective if all lanes have won?
If all lanes have,
you can't really push out because the junglers.
Mm-hmm. If all lanes have won, what you want to do there is generally you want to take objectives. So you either aim for towers, you aim for dragons, or you aim for Rift Herald. I'd say dragons are more important than rifts. That's because Rift Herald's still like, even though we're several months into the patch it's been in, like we're several patches in, several months in, it's still hard to tell the relative actual power level of the Rift Herald buff. Because people are still finding out who's it optimal to give to, like where does it go, like where should they go, should they be split, should they be grouped, it's really hard to tell, so that's why I value dragons more. But generally what you want to do is you want to aim for objectives. So like, hey guys, you want to look around the map and go, which lane's the weakest or which tower is the lowest. And generally what you want to do, even if you haven't taken that first tower, like let's say you're bot lane, what you can do is swap your bot lane to the weakest lane, and generally that's not going to be mid. Generally it's going to be top. So like, it's like you're ahead, like hey, if like you could take if they're like top laners really weak, you can say, hey bot, go top. I'm gonna go bot. I'm gonna hold the wave. You guys take the tower, and then we swap back. So what that does is that opens up the map top, and like what I said, like just like on the this one, I think it's this one. Yeah, this one. And so like I said, when it opens up the map, it makes it hard for them to farm, and that gives you control of that area. So that's what you want to do. You can swap your bot lane's your tower taking tool generally. So generally you can send bot top. You can even go together too. It's like, hey, let's say they're really weak. It's like, hey, jungle, bot, and top, let's dive something. And if you have 4 members, generally a dive is safe. You have to like tank tower aggro. Make sure you say like beforehand, hey, if you're the top laner, you be like, hey, I'm tanking first. Or jungler is just gonna be like, hey, I'm tanking first. Support as well. And you want to make sure you tank first. And just like when you're diving, that's like a completely different thing as well. But when you're diving, you want to try to like hit them once and just kind of like back off, you know, like stay at the edge, or like it's like 1 step or 2 steps, or like. Well, you know you have enough time to walk away. You don't have to do damage because you already have 3 other members there. So you don't necessarily have to do damage because they'll die. And you can just like walk out fully like 20 HP and you just live. But yeah, you want to use your bot lane as a tower taking tool, assuming you're all ahead. So you need bots generally like, with bot lane's kind of lopsided a lot of time. It's either even or like someone's losing completely terribly. And so like that way, like you either take that tower, bot, because your bot lane's winning so far ahead, because if all are winning, bot lane's generally winning. Or either bot lane's losing really hard. That's what I tend to happens a lot to me. You're winning really hard in the top side of your map, and bot lane's just like feeding like there's no tomorrow. That happens a lot as well. Like it's always bot lane. That's the thing. Always bot lane. So yeah, you want to like try to get your bot as your tower taking tool, assuming you're all ahead. So you take your bot, you move them top. You can even go with your top laner, then use your TP bot to catch the wave. You're like, hey, take this, I'm a TP. Like you can go, hey, we can take this, I'm a TP bot to catch the wave. They won't be able to dive me, I'm ahead. And so you don't want to do that. And then after that, you're gonna go for the next easiest tower, which would be your bot tower. And so you're gonna go bot, go with your bot lane, take that tower. And once both towers are down, you go mid. And you just keep playing objectives that way. Once you take like the first outer ring towers, it's all about warding. And so you ward entry points and then pink dragons. You keep doing dragons, you keep doing rift. If you find you have trouble sieging after taking all the towers, that happens a lot. Even on like our 5v5 games, we'll take all the outer turrets and we're ahead, and then we're just kind of sitting around. It's like, we can't really do much right now. So that's when you slide up a slow push, like I said earlier, deny a wave, and then like stay on the opposite side of the map. Like you don't want to slow push mid because they can just like walk and walk. But if you slow push like the opposite side of the map, it's a farther walk. Like that's why slow pushing is really important. But if you're like, but once you get all the outers down, generally people tend to know what to do in terms of where to be, but not really how to play the vision. So that's why wards are important, but that's generally what you want to do if you're ahead. You want to try to make the game as easy for you as possible, and like once you take like one of the outers, you go for the next one. Like you don't push for inhib turret while the rest of the outers are down unless you have Baron. Or like they all die, because like I said, you want to go for the next easiest thing, make it as hard as possible to throw. And you want to make sure you type to your team, let's not dive. That's a pretty big thing to type in early. Right.
So later on into the game, mid to late game, would you rather prioritize top lane slow pushing or bot lane slow pushing?
Generally it depends on your team comp. If your team comp that does Baron rather quickly, you want to slow push bot lane, that way you have that pressure. But the problem with that sometimes is like, sometimes you don't do Baron quickly enough, or like sometimes people won't even care, and like you start to do the Baron, and they try to go bot, and they just keep going, and like you're just kind of fucked. But that's why slow pushing is important. So you'd slow push bot generally, unless you're like, if you're inching towards 4 or 5 dragons. Let's say you have 2 or 3, and you're like, you can slow push top. Play for dragon, because like worst case scenario, the enemy team goes for Baron. Like after they clear the wave, you do dragon so fast, and you can just rotate there and then kill them. Generally, and like then you get fifth dragon. Fifth dragon is one of the hugest things in the game in terms of pressure on the map. So what you can do. I think this happened in a Jin Air game. I think it was versus Snebu, that really bad team in Korea. But what they did is Snebu was up 4 dragons, and how they lost the game is they had 4 dragons, and instead of giving up that dragon and giving Jin Air their first dragon, they kept fighting for it. But what they could have done is, since you have that pressure, the hugest pressure in the game is 5th dragon, so they had 4. What you can do is deny vision at Baron, wait for them to start this dragon, and you can do Baron so quickly. And so that's what you want to do. You can give up 5th dragon, like your 5th dragon is generally their 1st or 2nd dragon. That doesn't mean anything. And so you can trade that for an inhib. You want to use the pressure of having that. If you can't take it 100%, like let's say you're both 5v5 comps and you're not sure if you can win a team fight, you use that pressure to take top or Baron. you want to take an inhib or Baron. So that's what you want to do. And that's like if you're slow pushing, that's a situation where you'd slow push top instead of bot. But other